Hello everybody, today we're looking at the Lovers cards. I'm using four different decks here, the Rider-Waite-Smith, Light Seers, the Witch's Tarot and the Everyday Witch. I like to investigate and look at all the symbols that are within the original Rider-Waite-Smith deck because for several reasons. One, because it enables you to get a fuller picture of what this card is actually saying rather than just a lover's coming in. You know, it says so much more than that. It helps ignite your intuitive side as well when you're reading for yourself or for others. But also the symbols are often repeated. And so once you've started at the major, and I would recommend you start at the fall with me, you'll see that the symbols are repeated, and so learning the whole deck suddenly becomes an awful lot quicker experience. The other thing is that in more modern decks, they either have very little or no symbols in theirs, and I speak about that in another one, in another post that I put up. But you know, it just enables you to kind of pick up on the few symbols that may be present and just bring back to memory what you need to remember. Okay, so first off, we have the Lovers, which is a number 6. And this represents stability, the stable number. And after the Fool's journey, and he's just come back from seeing here the High Priest, which is number 5. So this card is it's sort of all the upset and chaos that he kind of internally found with number 5. He's able to have a bit of stability with number 6. Number 6 is also represented by the zodiac sign Gemini, the twins, and the element is air. For those you're interested, it's also the mental planet of Mercury. Okay, so this card represents duality then, as we said with the Gemini. With the Tree of Life, we have here the Tree of Life, and the flames coming from behind the man represents masculine and earthly energy, logic and reason of the creator. Whilst here, over here, you've got the Tree of Knowledge, and this is being entwined with the snake, which represents wisdom, and the woman stands in front of it looking up. So the angel unites these two dual aspects of God, the spiritual and the logic and the reason, spiritual and logic and reason, and they're being joined together by a frequency of love and gratitude and all those good joyful feelings. Some call this angel Raphael because he's in charge of the super consciousness of Creator God. So as in that we had here with the triple staff, you've got the conscious mind, you've got the subconscious or the unconscious mind, and then you've got the superconscious. It can be looked at that way. So he is in charge of all of that. So it's important to remember that these dualities are also present within ourselves. He has feminine and masculine, and she also has feminine and masculine within her. So loving ourselves and joining with our Creator, or joining within ourselves, helps us to join and rise up to our Creator. You've got to release your ego really at this time, and this is what the woman is focusing on. He's not at this time, but she is, and that's why her eyes are up, but his are down and looking at the woman's nudie body. We meet our God frequency when we sit in a place of gratitude and love. And I found this through deep meditation, myself several years ago, and it's changed my life. I mean, everything is possible within our mind and heart when we're set upon that particular frequency. So when you initially fall in love, let's say, everything seems possible, everything can become possible because our frequency is close to that God manifesting frequency. That's why receiving this card in a reading is so wonderful. So in a lot of ancient religions, predating Jewish and Christian practices, the Eve story was well and truly already established. But by eating the apple, she would enter paradise and higher consciousness, and it would bring out that divine spark in her and would unite her with her God, thus ending duality, being stuck between the humankind and God. The veil would be broken once she learns to get into that frequency, which you get by getting rid of your ego. So as you see in the card, the man's looking at the woman, fixed on earthly thinking with reason and the mind, and the woman's eyes are fixed on the angel or the God creator, the spiritual aspect. The mountain rises up very steeply, very phallically, but this signifies we must relinquish control of the earthly matters. Again, can you see how they're all saying kind of the same thing? And this helps to rise again to that higher conscious state of both dualities. Okay. So, beginning to close up now. This card represents the importance of love in a person's life, or in a specific love, marriage or long relationships, a particular relationship that will be valuable in leading you or the querent to a new understanding. That's often what is said. But this card can also be seen as helping the querent, either through someone coming along or that they need to find that loving frequency for themselves, for the sole purpose of becoming more like God. So the lover in a past or a reversal meaning, that can show that the querent is focusing very much on past loves and implies blocks and weaknesses, sexual or romantic problems that may dominate them, a little bit of karma problems, I would say. And, you have to look at this point if it's reversed. You really have to look at the fact that this is the last priority, and that's what's really on priority is at the top here, we have earthly matters being at the top of the focus of that querent or yourself, and you've really put God at the bottom. That's how I kind of easily remember it. At the end of the day, I always look at what's going on in the picture in more of a 3D way. So you've got the man and the woman are behind the trees of knowledge of good and evil and of life. What is behind those are the angel, and what is behind him is Creator God. So you're told here to think on what you need to gain in order to get into the right frequency, so that you can align yourself with the super conscious state, who is relying himself on the Creator God. I love that. But anyway, that came to me while I was writing up my notes. So going back to what 6 means, it represents all the qualities of a secure, loving relationship. A relationship with yourself, a relationship with somebody, a relationship with God. harmony, nurturing, understanding, sympathy, healing, empathy, perfection, order, comfort, and service to others, which is in quite stark contrast, I feel, if I can find my card again, probably not, of my Hierophant, which is all about kind of obeying the status quo and leaving you completely out of it, really. So going back to Gemini, we can see that the art of communication, that compromising spirit needs to be adjusted. So a lot of, when you get this card and it's talking specifically about a specific person and they happen to be a Gemini, this might be a call as well for them to be careful with the communication. Compromise a little bit. Don't be too harsh in what you say. Don't kind of let the ego run riot. Not that I'm decrying Geminis. I have Gemini in me. It's my Venus sign. But I'm aware that I get bored very easily. Geminis can be in love. Geminis can be incredibly fickle. A very short attention span when it comes to respecting men. So if, for instance, a man seems really engaging and everything else, and he seems wonderful, and then suddenly you start dating and he begins to kind of put his feet up, put the slippers on, and kind of take you for granted, Gemini woman is not going to put up with that for very long. I can just tell you that from experience. So yeah, so basically let's look at how the more modern lovely cards are displayed. So we've got the Cupid's bow. We've got the lady who, to me, it really came out that her head is up and his head is down. Now I know that that's just kind of the man can be taller and the female can be smaller. But I looked at that, having looked at this card, and kind of really saw that her head is up and his head is looking at her. She can look both ways. You've the card with, I mean, it's got a heart on here. The Cupid bow used to be in the original Tarot de Marseille, if I'm saying that correct. It used to be a Cupid's bow between a man and two women. Over here we've got what can be two women or two young boys even. We've got that love connection, but you've got this spirit, haven't you? Almost like the angel, and the royal purple colours of royalty and of Raphael, because remember he was in purple. So you've almost got the Raphael there. You've got the flames showing here, you know, kind of the tree of life possibly, but it's all about love and it's about self-love, and they're looking and dwelling inwards. They're looking at the beautiful fires, and whenever we look at a fire and flames rather, it really kind of helps you go within yourself. Over here we've got just a beautiful landscape. There is no mountain. You've got a very pretty angel with the sun behind her, and she's beckoning you in to receive this love. And yes, you know, I find this card, this deck, very spiritual. And to me, this says, come love yourself. Come into love frequency, whether it be with a partner or whether it comes straight from God, or whatever you want to call it. Come receive that love. From that, all things can happen. So we have not a lot of red here for passion, which is, to me, I'm really glad about that, because this card isn't about love, romantic postcard, Valentine's Day love, because there'd be lots of red here, as we've said on previous cards. It isn't about that sort of love. This is about completion of spirit within you, joining with the completed spirit of Creator God. It's saying about who you are inside, and you might meet someone that will help you on that next journey. Or upside down, it might be that actually there's a bit of karma here, and actually this is somebody who could be quite harmful for you, or you're not loving yourself and getting into that beautiful loving frequency that you need to rise higher. Some people go into tarot, they're not interested in going higher. They're not interested in anything like that. They're using tarot readers as simply fortune tellers. I don't really like that. For me, the tarot is all about, it is showing us how to become part and come back to God, and coming back into God's fold and igniting the spark that is within us. And that's what I think the Lover's card is about. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you've received everything that you can from this understanding. We're not always correct. We're not always perfect and right. We all have our take and perspective on the cards, but this is mine because I love looking at the symbols and the original meanings of it. Okay, well, thank you for listening. Bye-bye.